So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So we just heard Donald Trump's press conference. He says that the bigotry and the hatred must end, and he said on both sides. Now he doesn't know what's going on. He said he got off the phone with the Virginia governor.
The Virginia governor is Terry McAuliffe. He's
Okay.
a Clinton stooge. He is a pawn of the far left cultural Marxist Charlottesville Council. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's more like vice versa. He's more powerful than they are, but they have similar worldviews. Okay. He has worked closely with Charlottesville Vice Mayor Wes Bellamy and Councilor Kristen Zakos. Mayor Mike Signer has taken pictures with these people. They're very friendly. And no, Terry McAuliffe might have been part of a conspiracy to shut down this event. What happened was we have been working for 2 months to secure a peaceful free speech rally in support of the Lee Monument, in support of white advocacy, in support of free speech. And we have worked diligently with the police department to secure that park. So what happened was 1 week before the event, the Charlottesville city manager, who is like an unelected city councilor, who's the most powerful of the bunch, he had the event canceled. And they said they would get a permit, but it would have to be at McIntyre Park, this place that is far away from the Lee statue and has nothing to do with our protest. So we got the ACLU and the Rutherford Institute to sue on our behalf. So we took them to court because they were discriminating against our First Amendment rights based on the content of our speech. A federal judge ruled that that was the case. It was a federal judge who put the permit back in place.
Oh, got it.
Because he listened to both sides, and he saw that the Charlottesville City Council and city government had granted not one but two permits to left-wing protesters, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, in the same area. Within 1 block, there were 2 spots on either side. So they already created an unsafe environment by doing that. But their number one intention was not people's safety. It was trying to disrupt the alt-right. So the federal judge puts the permit back in place because he looked at the evidence and saw that Mayor Mike Signer and Wes Bellamy were repeatedly condemning the August 12th event, Unite the Right, saying, oh, it's racist, it's bigoted, we condemn it, blah, 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 blah. So there was content discrimination, viewpoint discrimination. The judge ruled that that was illegal. So at that point, we expected the police to reinstitute their original security plan because that's what they always said they would do in all the meetings I had with them.
Right.
But they didn't do anything. What you're hearing, if you listen to Fox News is cucking 100%. They sound like MSNBC right now.
They do.
They are talking about white supremacy and historical racism, blah, 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 blah. That is not the case. The Charlottesville Police Department didn't show up. They were supposed to escort our speakers into the event to keep them free of Antifa violence. They didn't do that. So we had Richard Spencer, Baked Alaska, and some other people got maced in the face on their way into the event.
Yeah, our reporter was right by the side of Baked Alaska when that happened. Right.
And so when we got into the event, the barricades were set up in a way that they were set up if our permit didn't get approved, right? So they never fixed the barricades. They just said, screw it, we're going to, I believe they said, screw it, we're going to cancel this thing no matter what, so we don't need to move the barricades. So there were barricades in the middle of the park keeping people from moving freely. Then we started to run out of space because there was an entire back half of the park which was empty. Why was it empty? It was empty because there were supposed to be 180 cops like in a row. They never showed up. So They had no intention of securing the park. Then there was a speakers area in around the front of the monument that was supposed to have like our security staff, our speakers. So because we couldn't enter that area, which we had a permitted event we were approved for, we got crammed. So myself, Richard Spencer, all of our speakers were pushed up against these barricades. The Charlottesville police weren't there. All that was there was the state police. And the state police wouldn't let us through. I kept saying, look, we are getting pushed against the railings. Why are you blocking us from the rest of the park? They said, well, because only the Charlottesville Police Department can remove the barricades. I said, get the Charlottesville Police Department out here then. Where are they? So for the next like 20 or 30 minutes, we are packed up against the corner of the barricade. I started periscoping saying, where the hell are they? So after about 20 to 30 minutes of that, a whole of Charlottesville people marches in 1 hour and a half after our permit was supposed to start, and they immediately declare an unlawful assembly.
I saw that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense. Our guy was live streaming from YouTube 1 minute, and the next minute they're getting pushed out of the rally. Are you going to file a lawsuit against the governor?
Think of it that they didn't give a damn about public safety. They didn't care about federal law. The only thing that they cared about was stopping the alt-right. And that's what they did. The elites in this society, in the media and in the government, did everything in their power to shut us down in defiance of federal court law. And we're going to have a lawsuit. We have to fight this. We have to.
Okay, that's good. That's good then, because the thing is that Fox News, I can't believe what they said. They're like these white nationalists, these racists are chanting White Lives Matter. But what about all the riots that happened where they're chanting Black Lives Matter? So are those black nationalists? What the?
Yeah, they're completely scapegoating the alt-right. I mean, we understood that this was something that they were going to try and do from the beginning. They were game sessioning every way that they could possibly try and defeat the alt-right at this event, and we outmaneuvered them at every corner. Because the name of the event is Unite the Right, the first thing the media and the establishment tried to do, they tried to sow division, and they tried to say, oh, well, these groups are fighting. But no one was fighting. This was a very cohesive effort amongst the alt-right for the most part, you know?
I saw it. They were standing together with Freedom Warrior, all these different groups of like alt-right people.
What's that?
I said you guys were all standing together with a lot of these different militias who are considered to be alt-right, right? I mean, everyone was fighting against these Antifa scum, these communists that wouldn't let you put on these rally. Now the cops are there. Now a fucking car crash happens. A car plows through a crowd, all because the blood's on the mayor's hand, all because they wouldn't let you guys have your peaceful assembly and separate you from the protesters like they did in New Orleans. That's the way it should have went.
Yeah, the blood is on the hands of the Charlottesville City Council and possibly on Terry McAuliffe. Before the event even started, people were saying that the National Guard might be involved, the state of emergency might be declared. So they had it in mind that no matter what it takes, we are going to stop the alt-right, because they knew that this event was going to be live streamed out to the entire world. This was going to bring our movement to a whole new level, and they could not stand that, even if they had to shred the Constitution. And that's what they did. This is an act of war against the American people, in my mind, because the only thing that makes our social contract in this country works are our sets of laws. And now we're going to have to fight this further in court. That's the only thing that we can do. If the courts aren't going to recognize our First Amendment rights, I don't know where we are as a country. We've lost our First Amendment.
Right, and then so last thing, since we didn't get it in the first half of the bit, What do you think about Donald Trump's comments about there's hatred on both sides and it must stop? Do you just think that he just doesn't know what's going on, or
I
what?
don't think he knows what's going on. No, I mean, I don't think that he's on 4chan. I don't think he knows.
Right.
I mean, but look, the Republicans are going to cuck very hard. I didn't think Trump really cucked. Obviously, he could be on our side, which
Right.
he wasn't. He was more of trying to just play it down the middle a little bit and bridge the divide to some extent.
Right.
But it's fine. I think what he did was kind of a stalemate. It's just a push because they're waiting what's going on with this car. Who is driving this car that ran into the people? And let me be clear, no matter who it was that did this, even though this is going to be the focus of a lot of the press going forward,
Yes.
it was caused by failure to apply rule of law. The Charlottesville Police Department stood down, and blood is on their hands. Blood is on the hands of the government officials, Wes Bellamy, Mike Signer, who refused to enforce the law, refused to protect our event.
Okay, sorry, one more thing. Now, last night, we saw live footage of marching. There had to have been 2,000. I don't care what anyone says when they talk about hundreds. There was about 1,500 to 2,000 alt-right members marching with torches, standing up for their rights, for the existence of white people, saying white lives matter. What happened to all those people? It didn't seem like those numbers were there today, or were they? Or was I just watching just two different perspectives? And why wasn't anyone tight today?
They shut it down before the time that the thing was supposed to start, right?
Right.
The event was supposed to start at 12 o'clock, and they shut it down at 11:30. So people have time to enter the park. There were the counter demonstrators were allowed to block us from every angle, and so the people that got into the park got there despite all of the Antifa interference. I mean, there was a huge column of people from our side marching up the street, and they didn't count on that. They had Cornel West and these other phony commies pretending to be preachers blocking the way in. The cops weren't doing anything about that. Our people got in anyway. But here, this is such a complicated scenario if you weren't here. Let me tell you that it wasn't just today. Yesterday evening, the police stood down. Yesterday, when we were at UVA, we knew that Antifa knew about our plan to march to the Thomas Jefferson statue at the Rotunda. So we notified the Charlottesville Police Department. We notified the UVA Police Department, and we told them, look, we don't want any violence. We just want to be able to do our demonstration. And my security guy talked to him, and what my security guy told me is that the UVA police said they were going to show up. They were going to make sure the area around the monument was clear of Antifa so there wouldn't be any scuffles. They were going to meet us at the field where we were going to start our march. We came to the field. There were no cops there, no police protection like they said. Then we marched, still no cops, nobody. Then we show up at the statue, and there's a bunch of there's a ring of Antifa or Black Lives Matter around the statue, and there's no cops there to keep them separate. The cops did nothing. So you obviously have these two groups who hate each other in that area, and then I didn't see what happened. My security guys pushed me forward. I looked back and I saw some liquid spraying out there, and I thought it might have been something flammable. Evidently what had happened is that somebody from the left, from Black Lives Matter, sprayed mace into the crowd just like wantonly. And then people got agitated and a few fights broke out. Right. So I lay 100% on the failure of the government.
Right. I just wish we could have afforded to get all of us out there, man. That sucks. We couldn't raise enough money. Anyway, Rick Wright did a good job. Thanks again, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to cut this up and get this out now and get this truth out now.